Welcome to the Horizon Sportscast, where we deliver everything sports related. This is Josh.
And I'm Jake.
Today we will be doing a division breakdown of the AFC West, where the Super Bowl Denver Broncos reign supreme. So Jake, before we get started, tell us about your fandom.
Alright, well, ever since I was little, I've been a huge Indianapolis Colts fan. Got into the Colts because of Peyton Manning. He got me into football. I distinctly remember the first, after his rookie season, Christmas, I asked for a Peyton Manning jersey and I got it, and I thought it was the coolest thing of all time. But I still think he's the greatest of all time. Might be a little biased there, but love the Colts. So, Josh, tell us about you.
Well, I have a name for you. Molus. Took down Drew Bledsoe, and Tom Brady came onto the field. That's when I fell in love with football. That's really it, honestly. I mean, we lost that game, but he's shown he was something special.
So you're telling me you're a huge Drew Bledsoe fan?
Yeah, I hated Drew Bledsoe. I thought he was a turnover machine.
I remember he was on a few of my fantasy football squads.
He was all pro. He was a good player.
I love Drew Bledsoe.
That was before I actually got into it, really. You know, Tom Brady, So he was a Bill Parcells guy.
Well, I mean, he was a first-round pick, so I mean, it's not like he was
he's a future Hall of Famer.
Really?
I think he's going to make it. At his time, he had records, dude.
I don't think he ever really put up the... I don't know. You could be right.
I remember him having the passing yards record at one time, I think. For a season.
He's already eligible, isn't he? He retired.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. I think it'll be a while.
Well, whatever. No.
Right.
I said he wasn't a bust, but kind of.
Kind of is. I mean, if you see his TD to interception ratio, it's not as bad as Brett Favre.
I mean, he's not a Ryan Leaf, but he's also not a Peyton Manning, so.
True.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
So, AFC West. Yeah. Last year, Broncos went all the way, primarily with the defense carrying them. Probably one of the top 5 defenses of all time.
That pass rush duo that they had, well, you could say trio, honestly.
I would even... I mean, it's not even the pass rush. I mean, the 3 lockdown corners, very good safeties.
You're already calling Bradley Roby a lockdown corner?
I'm not saying he's a lockdown corner, but he would be a number 2 corner on most teams. But he's a nickel corner for the. I mean, dude's only had 2 years in the league, and
he's going to have play. He's going to get his opportunity if to lead with that shot.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of dumb, but
he is dumb. We'll get to that later.
So, I guess we should probably start off with the Broncos. So, let's see here. Looks like they have had a few additions here. Not as many departures, though. Or actually, opposite. Looks like they added Mark Sanchez, Jared Crick, and Russell Okung to help that offensive line, who at times was a little bit shaky last year and kind of led to their offense being stagnant. They really weren't ever able to get their offense going with Peyton Manning or Brock Osweiler.
Peyton Manning was actually average last year. You could actually say that. Below average.
Yeah, he was average. That's what happens, though. I mean, he was 39 years old, and it's never really quite the same after that neck surgery, and it's kind of sad, but it's nice to see him come out on top at the end there.
I mean, I'm honestly not a big Peyton Manning fan because I'm biased because the Patriots-Colts rivalry, but I was very happy for him. They got to go out on top. I got to admit to that. Maybe hurt Brock Osweiler's feelings, but.
And it brings me to Brock Osweiler, who I thought it was interesting that he left potentially a Super Bowl. Well, they are a Super Bowl caliber team. They just need a quarterback in place. Left to go to the Houston Texans, which I thought was very interesting. You want to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, he's playing for a great offensive mind in Bill O'Brien. It had to really intrigue him. I mean, his system, how he likes building his team. He likes the 2 tight end scheme. He has one really good receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, which I actually feel like is better than Demaryius Thomas. Just my personal opinion for his first couple of years. And they brought in Lamar Miller. I think that was after they brought in Brock, though. But
yes.
They have a solid line, which the Broncos don't have. So he's going to be protected.
I agree. Defense isn't quite on the Broncos level, but he got a fat contract, so it's all about getting paid, and that's what he did.
That's what the NFL is, getting paid.
Also, departures, Malik Jackson, huge hit.
He came on his contract year, and he was a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody could block him.
Yeah, and their 3-4 scheme, he's was at 3-tech, and, man, he just blew up run plays and pass. He's probably 290 pounds, I believe. Dude is like pass rushes like he weighs 240 pounds. He's an outside linebacker.
Yeah, he's became a technician too. I've seen some of his hand placements and stuff. He's pretty good with his hands, which is good for a big man, especially at 3'4".
And he got a fat contract as well, going to the Jags. Also departing the Broncos, Omar Bolden, who is just kind of a return guy for them.
Strictly special teams, gunner in, return,
David Bruton, Vernon Davis, Evan Mathis, the guard, Danny Trevathan, which is kind of a big hit to their defense. They had those two middle linebackers with Brandon Marshall and Trevathan. That might hurt him a little bit. And, of course, the retirement of Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that leaves them at a huge question mark at quarterback. Who do you think is going to start between Mark Sanchez and their first-round draft pick, Paxton Lynch?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I actually liked Mark Sanchez when he was with the Jets. I thought he was a decent quarterback.
He was a good game manager.
Yeah, I don't think he is a franchise. I don't think he's the Sanchez. But I thought he was a decent quarterback, and I think with the right defense, which the Broncos have on paper, that he could win them 10, 11 games. But he has the running back, C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman.
And now Devontae Booker, who is a dog, calling out his fellow teammates saying he's going to be the man.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. But in the end, I think Paxton Lynch is going to win it out in camp. I feel like they're going to go with the new blood.
You trade up for a first-round quarterback.
He's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't watch him too much in college because he played for Memphis, and they don't really have a lot of televised games. But I did watch some of the games that he played. I watched him against Houston last year, which was a big matchup. And he played pretty well, man. He's definitely got some work. He's raw. He's I think he's 6'8",
6'7", 240 pounds.
240 pounds, yeah. Big guy, Ben Roethlisberger build. But I think he's going to work well in their offense as long as Demaryius Thomas can stop dropping balls.
Yeah, that was his huge issue when they switched from Peyton Manning to Brock Osweiler. I don't know if it was the arm strength, he was just adjusting, because they say Peyton Manning throws a little bit of a floater. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody's been laughing at his noodle arm the last couple years.
Right, but he still made it work. I mean, so, hey. But I got another question for you about them Broncos. What about their offensive line? What do you think they're going to do with their offensive line? It's a shuffle. They traded. They got Russell Okung.
It is. That was big for them. I couldn't look. Did they still have Ryan Clady? Correct.
They traded him to the Jets.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so they filled that left tackle hole
with another average kind of guy who has injury problems. You still have Max Garcia. Their center is Matt Paradis. I know that's not going to strike you. He started all 16 games last year.
Did he really?
Yes. And then right guard, I'm going to have one of the guards. I have no issue. That's a question mark. And they had Schofield start as their right tackle last year. Schofield.
Yeah, he is a Michigan Wolverine.
And Jake hates Michigan Wolverines.
He never really impressed me in college. He's like a fifth-round pick. I don't think he is the answer at right tackle. But, I mean, the other option is Tyson Brio. which was their second-round pick last year, I think.
That sounds right.
But he was injured all year, I think, so I don't know if he's going to step in there, possibly. I know he started a few games before he got injured, and I don't think he did all that well, which is common.
Right.
But, let's see here. So, let's see.
Where do you have them finish in the division, Jake? How about that?
I have them finishing, looks like second place. I have them going 9-7. Like I said, I think they can win 10 or 11 with Sanchez, but I think they're going to give the reins to Lynch. And he's going to cost them a couple games, I think, with some turnovers and issues throwing the ball. But I think it's going to be better in the long run, getting that practice. Being a Colts fan, they threw Andrew Luck into the fire, and I think it helped him out quite a bit rather than him riding the pine for a couple years. But so I think they're going to go 9-7. What about you?
I actually have them at 9-7 also, but I have them at 2-4 inside the division, winning only 2 games within the division.
2 games.
Yeah, and that being against
the Chargers.
Yeah, actually, one of the game against the Chargers at home. And then I think also another game against the Raiders at home. Yeah, at home. Week 17.
Nice. Then just to go through the rest of their draft picks. Second round, they drafted Adam Gotsis out of Georgia Tech, a defensive tackle. Played 8 years of Australian rules football.
So you're saying he's more of a project. He's
yes,
not going to be replacing Malik Johnson.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's definitely a project for them. But let's see here. Third round, I think they had the biggest steal of the draft right here. Justin Simmons, safety out of Boston College. Killed it at the combine, similar to Byron Jones last year for the Cowboys. Has a ridiculous vertical, ridiculous speed. And they got him at the end of the third round, so I'm not sure if he's going to be starting for them, but I definitely think he can push for playing time because he has the raw ability, I think.
I know Darian Stewart's playing free, but the strong safety I know is up in the air because I think they lost their strong safety. Notre Dame
Bruton.
kid. Yep. Bruton. David Bruton. But so, I mean, he could actually get a starting spot. I mean, round 3, I'm sorry. I mean, heck, their defense is good as long as you can cover up. You got good corners. Why not give him a shot?
I think he's going to be a good player. You said earlier Devontae Booker, I thought was the third best running back in this draft after Elliott and Henry. I think he's eventually going to take over the job. He seems pretty confident kid. I've watched him play several times this past season, and he has the ability to be a great back in the NFL. I know shelf life for a running back in the NFL isn't exactly what it used to be, but I think he's going to make some plays for them this year.
And he's going to get touches because, I mean, CJ got started a little late last year, and then they're old. Supposed to be scat back. It hasn't really produced that well. So,
and Kubiak likes to go with multiple running backs, 3 or 4 getting touches a game. So he's definitely going to get his touches.
Devontae Booker's complete. He's a complete package. Each one of those running backs have a strength, but they're not complete. That's just my opinion about C.J. Anderson and everybody else in that backfield. It's crowded, but you got 3 really good guys who do things really well.
Fourth round, they grabbed Connor McGovern out of Missouri. Just add some depth to that offensive line. Sixth round, they added Andy Janovich, fullback out of Nebraska, who's your typical lunch pail gym rat, workout warrior out of Nebraska. So I'm a Ohio State fan, so I watch a lot of Big Ten football, and he can catch passes out of the backfield. He's a good blocker. They run a running scheme there in Nebraska, so I think he's going to work out well for them there. I'm not sure if he's going to stick on. He's a 6th-round pick, but he might be able to grab a roster spot.
Virgil Green was their fullback last year, and he's technically a tight end.
And they did lose Vernon Davis, so.
Yeah.
Will Parks, safety from Arizona, and then they grabbed Riley Dixon in the 7th round from Syracuse, a punter.
Which Dustin Colquitt's getting kind of old, so he actually has a chance to make the team.
Looks like they're going to have open competition here in the summer, so that'll be interesting to see. So I think that wraps it up for the Broncos.
All right. What do you think about the Chargers? What do you see the Chargers doing this year?
Not much. I don't think they really. I really like what they did in the draft.
Joey Bosa and Joshua Perry. We got an Ohio State fan in here, so of course you like what they're doing.
Not only that, they added tight end Hunter Henry, who's the top tight end in the draft out of Arkansas.
They say he can't run block very well, but I've seen some of the tape, and he actually did a decent job for the Arkansas. They
run primarily a run offense there, power run. So That's what the Chargers are trying to do. They like their big boy offensive linemen. They like to run the ball. As terrible as they did that last year.
Well, your boy wasn't very healthy last year. Your running back.
No, I'm a big Melvin Gordon fan, and I was kind of sad that he didn't produce last year.
I think he was playing on a broken foot.
He was injured a lot. Didn't even score a touchdown last year.
It's sad day for Mr. Melvin Gordon, but I feel bad for him because Todd Gurley had an awesome year, and I was wanting to compare the two, and you really can't because he wasn't healthy.
I think their offensive line is going to be better this year. Another year of work for the young guys. They added Max Turk, a center out of USC, who's one of the top centers in this year's draft.
Apparently a very good pulling center at that.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that in college.
Yep. Like you said, Josh Perry, an outside linebacker from Ohio State. Probably going to be playing middle for them. He's more of a 4-3 outside linebacker. So
I think
their scheme.
Teo and his imaginary girlfriend's on their way out.
I would imagine so. And looks like Josh might be able to play right next to his buddy from college. I think Bosa's going to be an outside linebacker for them.
And they got Denzel Perryman last year, so
yeah, they got a nice front seven going on. Corey Legit, Melvin Ingram, very very talented,
just can't stay healthy. But he lost a ton of weight to actually play outside this year.
Yes, he did. Let's see here, they added Jatavis Brown, another outside linebacker from Akron. Drew Kaiser, a punter from Texas A&M. Derek Watt. J.J. Watt's brother, fullback from Wisconsin, added him in the 6th round. And Donovan Clark, a guard from Michigan State. So I think they had a pretty good draft. They addressed some needs. I would have liked to see them go more offensive line.
Offensive line, and honestly, do you feel like their offensive weapons is good enough? Rivers' window is closing.
He is... How old is he? Probably 35, 30... He got drafted in 2004. He was with Eli and Big Ben.
Yeah, his time's coming up.
Yeah, the window is definitely closing.
I mean, Keenan Allen was hurt last year, so he's coming. Well, he's hurt for part of the year, but Keenan Allen's a good weapon. But who do they have outside of that other than Antonio Gates? And Hunter Henry's coming along, but is he really going to be able to beat out Antonio Gates?
I doubt it. They really didn't do much in free agency.
No, they didn't.
They added Casey Hayward, who is probably a number 2 quarterback, and he's going to be their number 1, I believe.
But, you got Brett. Brett had a really good year, and he's going to probably be one of the top corners in the next couple of years too.
Yep, I am a big fan of his. You know that.
Oh yeah,
huge fan of his. They also added Travis Benjamin, who. Speedy slot guy is going to be able to get open for them. Not going to be a game changer. Not going to have.
I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to get all Johnny Manziel and be like, "Well, I'm going to roll out and just throw it deep."
Right.
So
he'll be a good weapon for them. They kind of lack that small, speedy guy. Like you said, Keenan Allen was hurt last year,
right.
But
and he's more a possession guy anyway.
Right.
So.
And then they added Brandon Mebane to beef up that defensive line. Not bad. He's getting a little on the older side, but he's a solid.
He was quoted saying that the San Diego Chargers defense is more talented than the Seattle Seahawks.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he said that. That was straight out of the horse's mouth. It's kind of funny how that worked out. I don't think that's true. I mean, you don't have Richard Sherman. I mean, Brett's pretty good, but I don't think it's Richard Sherman. And
interesting.
Joey Bosa's young. He Melvin Ingram's injury prone, so I don't know. I can't agree with that sentiment at all. But hey,
let's see here. We talked about Phillip Rivers, the offensive line. So what do you have the Chargers going this year?
Well, I have the Chargers going 6-10 and only winning one game in the division.
Only one game.
Yeah.
I have them going 5-11 and finishing in last place. Hopefully they can try to get themselves another top 5 pick. Maybe get a stud offensive lineman next year. Maybe a nice offensive tackle.
Do you think if Mr. I had the bong helmet on, that wouldn't have got leaked, they would have picked him? The Ole Miss tackle?
Tunsil, I'm not sure.
Because what was the word?
I know he was mocked to them for a while, as well. I know Jalen Ramsey was mocked to them for a while, but they have so many holes, like a lot of other teams that really.
They're in a tough division. They're probably in one of the toughest divisions in the league.
Yeah,
honestly.
With the Raiders getting better and the Chiefs being solid, and the Broncos are a little bit in flux right now. We don't really know exactly what they're going to be with the quarterback situation, but
musical chairs.
Definitely I would say that's the toughest division in football right now.
Yeah, I mean, before it was the NFC West, or
the 49ers have backslidden tremendously. But we will get to that at a later date. So I think that wraps it up for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else. Do you think Bosa is really going to pay out for the 3rd pick in the draft, though? That's the only thing I want to ask.
I think you kind of put me on the spot there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a technician, but is the ceiling that high?
He has the ability. I know the comparisons to J.J. Watt. I don't.
Whoa.
Well, people compare them because they're white defensive ends from Big Ten schools, but I don't think they have the same skill set. So I'm not sure why they're
right. Yeah,
compared all the time.
2 totally different body types.
Right.
Too.
Joey's actually he's a very lean 270 pounds. He does not look like he weighs that much. He's, like I said, he's going to be playing the outside linebacker for them mostly. I think his ceiling is really high. He demanded double teams in college, so his production kind of slacked off in his junior year. But, I mean, dude was getting double and triple teamed all year last season, so that's to be expected. But
I just want to get your take on that because I heard his ceilings, they don't really know where it's at because he played with a very talented defense, and that's kind of where the backlash comes from a lot of people.
He
got picked too high.
Well, if you look at Alabama from the last 5 seasons, they've had ridiculous defenses. Yes. They've had a ton of prospects come out that have been studs so far, and busts as well.
As bust.
You're going to have that, but we'll have to see. So next up, I've got the Raiders.
All right. Tell us about the Raiders, Jake.
All right. Well, this is, I think, the sexy pick in the AFC West this year.
I would say the AFC.
AFC. Whew.
They've done so much. Their defense still isn't quite there with the secondary, but I feel like they're the sexiest looking team in the AFC. I'll let you take it over from there.
I agree. I got them going 11-5 and winning the division.
Okay.
I think they really improved themselves in the offseason with the draft and also with the free agency. They added Kelechi Osemele from the Ravens, one of the best guards in the league.
Their offensive line's just progressively been getting better throughout the years. They've been acquiring guys, not just drafting, they've been acquiring guys in free agency. They used to have one of the crappiest lines, and now they're actually worried about it.
They have a solid defensive line. Gabe Jackson's a really good center that I like.
Guard. Did you get picked in the center? No, I don't think he did.
I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm not. Also added Bruce Irvin from the Seahawks. Not going to be a game changer for them. I think.
I feel like he would complement our favorite defensive player in the NFL right now, Khalil Mack. I think he could actually be a game changer because he's playing across from Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I think he fits well in their scheme. He's a good 3-4 outside linebacker.
They're doing multiple, kind of like what the Patriots used to do.
Are they really?
They do 4-3, they do 3-4, they jump between the two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's definitely going to fit their scheme. He's a fast guy.
He's freaky fast. He's one of the most athletic
linebackers. He's Jimmy Johns. He's freaky fast.
When he first came out of college, he was like 230 pounds?
Yeah, he out of West Virginia. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was tiny.
They also added Sean Smith, going to help their secondary, I think, tremendously.
Yeah, that gives them the true number one corner that they didn't have. Now, he is getting older, but they can complement that with their younger guys that they have that they may not hit so well on, like DJ Hayden, who had a decent year last year. Not a great year, but a decent year.
Also, they plucked him from their division rival, the Chiefs, so that's always a plus.
Bread on my butter. Butter on my bread. So.
Departures, they lost Charles Woodson to retirement.
And we all know Jake is happy about that because he hated that guy because he stole the Heisman from Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he did. But that's okay. You know, even though I'm an Ohio State fan, I do admire Charles.
You do admire him. You were always dogging on him. He's so crappy, Josh. He's the worst corner or safety out there.
You know I did not say that.
You said that all the time.
I did not.
He was such a talented guy, though. He was scheme versatile. He could play in nickel. And when he was older with the Packers, he was so good at that. And he would blitz and get sacks. Go ahead. Sorry.
Even this year, he still produced at a high level.
Okay.
I watched, let's see, what was that? Christmas. So around one of the Christmas games, they played the Chargers like on a Friday night or something. And it was his last game in Oakland, and he had a pick that game, and after the game, it was just a really emotional scene on the field. They have him give a huge speech on the field, and really cool to have him send off like that. Kind of sucks the Raiders weren't able to make one less playoff run, but it's a way for him to go out. They also lost Justin Tuck.
He retired as well, or is he
just retired?
Okay,
retired. Then Taylor Mays also didn't really work out for the Raiders.
He was always just one of the serviceable guys. He never really had a special career or anything, so that was a big loss for him. But they did pick up a safety with their first round pick.
Yes,
Carl Joseph. What do you think about this kid? I heard he has some real talent, and he's a speedy guy like the old Davis liked.
Yes. A lot of pundits were saying that they reached for this pick. I'm not sure that I agree with that. I watched a couple games of his this past year, and I thought he looked like a stud to me. Like you said, he's really fast, had a great combine showing. I think he's going to fit well in their scheme. Going to replace Charles Woodson, maybe.
Okay.
I think he's going to be good for them.
Do you think they did enough on the defensive front in the draft with Jihad Ward and Shalik Calhoun? I know you watch a lot of Big Ten football, so tell me about Shalik a little bit.
I love those picks. Jihad Ward, great name, by the way.
Yeah, I love it.
He's a huge guy. He's a defensive end. He's probably going to play inside for them. He's a huge run disruptor. I played for Illinois. Don't really watch a lot of Illinois games, to be fair, but he when they played Ohio State this past year, really disrupted JT Bear in the offensive line. He was one of the best players in the Big Ten last year. I think he's going to do well for them. Then you got Shalik Calhoun, who I think was a great value pick in the third round. Past couple of years, he's been slated in the first just because he's a freak. Great ability, great speed, great size.
Why did he fall down? He's
raw.
He's raw.
He's raw. He doesn't quite have the pass rushing skills. They're not quite there yet. So that's a great pick for them in the third round. It's only going to help them with their pass rush. I mean, they already got Khalil Mack.
Right, and Bruce Irvin, and they picked a defensive end out of Florida State last year. Was it Florida State?
Mario Edwards.
Yeah, Mario Edwards.
Yep. He had a really good year for them.
He had a neck injury, too, at the end of the year, so they're kind of concerned about that. He's saying he's okay and he'll be able to play, but he's another probably Jihad Ward where he can kick inside a little bit here and there.
I agree. Next, in the fourth round, they took the controversial Connor Cook from Michigan State.
And the word on him, the reason he fell was because his leadership skills are lacking.
His leadership skills.
Throws his teammates under the bus and stuff, Jake?
Throws teammates under the bus, apparently. Not the greatest team leader in the locker room. I've read that a lot of his teammates did not like him. Michigan State, he just kind of seemed, I might be a little biased here, he just kind of seemed extremely cocky, which you kind of want your quarterback. But
yeah, you want your quarterback to be cocky. They said Aaron Rodgers was cocky, and that's why he fell.
I don't think he's going to do much. I think he's a backup at best. Obviously, they have Derek Carr in place, who is their franchise. I don't think he's going to do much. That
kid has so much promise.
Oh, God. I can't wait to see him play this year. He had a great season last year, and he's only going to get better. He's young. Way better than his brother.
Yeah, way better than his brother. But his brother came into a terrible situation. It was talked about that he had all the talent in the world, and he truly did. He just got beat up.
He was definitely put in a bad situation.
Yes. He probably shouldn't have started his first year, honestly.
Probably not, but that's what happens when you have an expansion team.
You're right. Poor guys. Sorry, guys.
Also, they added DeAndre Washington, a scat back out of Texas Tech in the 5th round. Linebacker Corey James out of Colorado State in the 6th. And guard Vidal Alexander from LSU, who had some high projections, like in the late 2nd, early 2nd, late 2nd. He fell. Not sure why. It's just one of those things, you know.
That kind of what happened with the LSU kid last year. Just fell out of it because he got arrested.
And now he is a stud.
He's a stud, yeah. So,
but I think took a good flyer on him in the 7th round.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's a big kid. He played some tackle last year, but he's definitely a guard. SEC. He's like 330 pounds.
SEC.
But
SEC.
So, what do you think about the Raiders' offense?
They are going to be banging. I mean, nobody's going to be able to stop them in that division, maybe other than the Broncos, but they don't have a quarterback to keep up with the points, so eventually, I mean, the Broncos' defense isn't even going to be able to stop them because you got to be up. And I don't think the Broncos are going to have the chance to be up against this team.
One thing I think they could have added this offseason is another wide receiver.
Or even a tight end.
Yeah, they got Amari Cooper, and they got Latavius Murray and Derek Carr, which is a great big three. I like that.
They got Mike Crabtree, too. He had a pretty good year.
Crabtree, he's starting to get a little old. He had a decent year last year, but I don't think he's the long-term answer there.
Maybe not the long-term answer, but I loved his Texas Tech days, you know.
Oh, yeah. Cover of NCAA 10. Remember that game?
You remember the Texas game?
Yes, I do. What a game.
But anyways, yeah, their offense, nobody's going to be able to stop it. I think the running game may be a little stagnant because I don't feel like they have a true stud. I mean, Murray is pretty darn good, but I don't feel like he is the guy. I really don't. I feel like he's a 800, 900 yard kind of guy.
Fair enough. Let's see, and we already kind of touched on their defense. They got a good front seven going. The secondary is a bit of an issue.
Secondary is a bit of an issue. I mean, Sean Smith is a good addition, but once again, he's kind of older. We don't know how their safeties are going to pan out specifically. So if their safeties can't cover what he does, which is what he does is he's a press guy. I'm going to get in your face, and he lets go, and the safety isn't there. The defense is going to fall. If there isn't any communication within that secondary, they're going to have issues.
I agree. I think if their secondary can just do okay,
right,
their defense is going to be very good because of their front seven.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
don't
pass
have
rush.
to have the greatest corners. The Panthers proved it. They had Josh Norman, which I think is overrated. But they had a really good front seven.
And look what they did last year.
And we know Jack Del Rio likes running a little more zone than man, so they should be okay as long as they can get that pass rush going.
Bold prediction.
Oh.
Khalil Mack breaks the sack record this year.
I don't know, man.
It's broken.
It's broken? Okay.
It's broken.
J.J. Watts came close, but, you know. I think
he's the most dynamic defensive player in the game right now.
I agree with that statement right there. He is the most dynamic. I love the kid.
I think he is going to break it, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he gets 23.
23?
23. Breaks it by a half.
I say he gets 20.
20.
He gets 20.
Whatever.
He's going to have guys taking sacks away from him. You think about that front, you got Bruce Irvin, you got Mario Edwards, which he's a pretty good guy inside pass rush. I don't see him getting it.
Well, he's the best, so he's going to get 23.
He's the best. Okay. Straight up, he's the best, guys.
All right. And that brings us to the last team in the AFC West. We got the Chiefs. Give us your take.
Well, I got them tied with the Broncos, actually 9-7, but 4-2 in the division.
Very nice.
So they have a really good defense, just kind of like the Raiders. Well, kind of like the Raiders. You know, they got Justin Houston. They got what's his name? Old Tamba Hali.
Tamba Hali.
Yep. And Dontari Poe in the middle as a monster, which is on a contract year.
Also, they added Jay Howard, the defensive lineman, in free agency. That's going to help them out. Let's see. They also added Mitchell Schwartz from the Browns. It's going to help their offensive line out.
They've lost a couple pieces here and there throughout the years, and they kind of need a restock on that position.
I think he's a good fit for them. Like I said,
I like him with the Browns.
He was
very solid.
Yeah, I did. I think that's a good pickup for them. I think he's going to fit well in their scheme.
Sorry, Jake.
No, you're fine.
I interrupt you. I like the kid. He's like 6'7". He's a big guy. You know, you want those big, lengthy tackles.
He's
and
young
He is young.
Let's see. Like I said a couple minutes ago, Sean Smith leaving the Chiefs to go to the Raiders, the division rival.
But they have a promising budding young star who was tied for interceptions last year.
Marcus Peters. Really like that kid. I think he is
extremely amazing ball skills.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be an All-Pro for the years to come.
He understands the baiting quarterbacks and all that, which a lot of young corners don't understand. He baited Peyton Manning in some terrible throws.
Oh yeah, he was tremendous last year. I really liked that pick last year when they drafted him, and I think he's going to be a stalwart for the defense for years to come. I think he's going to be their number one guy for a while.
And I have something to nitpick. I want to call it a young player because I want to see him succeed because he has all the measurables. Chris Connolly. I want to see him do something amazing next year.
You're right. What is he, 6'6"?
6'2".
Oh.
Yeah, they had him listed as 6'3" on certain other things, but he's 6'2". He ran a 4.35 at the combine last year, and he had a 45-inch vertical.
I agree. I know you have used him a lot in Madden.
Yeah.
So you might be a little biased.
Well, it's all about the SEC. It's like, not really. It's Big Ten probably now. I think Jake will say that.
He definitely has the measurables. We'll have to see.
He needs to work on his route running.
Definitely.
Ball handling a little bit.
But he has all the talent in the world. Just gotta put it on paper.
Yeah, I mean, he would be a good compliment to Jeremy Maclin. Take a lot off Jeremy Maclin. Jeremy Maclin was the offense last year. Oh, Travis Kelce too. I'm sorry.
What was it? The year before last, where the receivers
had
catch
0 touchdowns. Yes.
That's so sad.
That is sad.
That's embarrassing.
That's why they got Maclin. Hopefully, Chris Connolly ups his game to help them out. But yeah, talking about the Chiefs, they where do you got them at, Jake?
Right now I have them at 8-8. That puts them at 3rd in the division.
Okay.
I think they're a solid team. I just don't think. I think Alex Smith is not
He's not the answer.
No, he
really isn't. He can game manage, and that's about it.
And we all know that Jamal Charles is going to get injured in the 4th game of the season.
They have an extremely crowded backfield, though.
Yes,
West came on and was pretty solid.
And Niall Davis.
Niall Davis was a good compliment to West.
I agree. So if he goes down, I mean, they were able to... I mean, he's Jamal Charles. You're not going to copy his production, but they did what they could last year.
He breaks so many tackles for a small guy. He's like a wide receiver. He's a running back in a wide receiver body.
Oh, yeah, he can catch the ball, too.
Yeah,
he's tremendous. Just sucks that he's so injury-prone, because I think he could be...
It's because he's so small. He has a small frame. And they try to run him between the tackles, and that's the issue. It really is. But he's still good at it. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But, anyways, I have them finishing at 9-7 and 4-2 in the division. So I got them in second. Tied for second with the Broncos. I'm sorry.
You have making the playoffs?
I don't know about that. Probably not. I don't see them making the playoffs. It's just the AFC's getting better progressively. The draft, a lot of teams got better. The Steelers got better.
I think the AFC is better than the NFC right now.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It feels like a lot of the NFC, they're just losing so many players.
It's been, as far as the conferences have been concerned, it's been really riding the wave as far as who has the... It's been the NFC for the past 5 or so years, and if you look back at the previous 5, it's Colts, Patriots, Steelers,
right,
Broncos. So I think it's trending towards the AFC again, but we'll have to see on that. Just a few other notes. Chiefs also lost Tyvon Branch to free agency. Not a huge loss.
Not huge.
Also, Chase Daniel, who got a nice contract for a backup quarterback in Philly.
Yeah.
Good.
They did go ahead and replace him with a nice young talent from Stanford, Kevin Hogan, though.
Yes, they did. They also retained Derek Johnson and Tom Holly,
which were big signings. Derek Johnson is one of the best middle linebackers in the league
of all time.
Oh, that is a bold one of all time. Better than Ray Lewis, huh?
No,
okay.
I'm just kidding. I really think he's one of the all-time greats. So
he is.
I wouldn't put him on Ray Lewis level, but I mean,
he does so many things well. He can cover a wide receiver. He's a solid tackler. He stops the run. He stuffs the run. He does it all.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge re-signing for them. So let's get to the draft. Let's see, first round, they added defensive tackle / defensive end Chris Jones out of Mississippi State. Solid pick. Can't say I watched a lot of him.
He's a bigger frame. He's 6'6", 300 something. They're saying that if they can't get a re-signed Poe, he's going to fill in for Poe.
Yep. Good pick for them as far as that's concerned. Definitely looking towards the future there. Let's see
if he can say this name for this next guy.
I got it.
Okay.
Third round, Kavari Russell out of... Did I say that right?
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, I think you said it better than I would have.
Kavari? Yeah.
Kavari, yeah.
Well, he has an apostrophe after the EI, so...
He's drafted as a corner, but projected safety.
Yep.
Out
of Notre Dame.
Oh. Fighting Irish, baby.
I think... I actually really like his game. I watched a lot of Notre Dame this season.
Oh.
I did. And they
have a pretty solid defense, honestly.
He produced for them. He's been with them for a while. He had a little issue back a couple years ago, that academic scandal, but seems to be back on track. He's a third round pick.
I read most teams would just suspend him for a game, and he got suspended for ever, which is hilarious.
Poor guy.
Yeah, well. It's Notre Dame, all about their school, their academics.
Guard Parker Ehringer in the fourth round. Also, cornerback Eric Murray out of Minnesota. Wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson out of Florida, which I really like that pick. I think he has the speed and the hand skills, the ball skills, to be a good fit for them. Maybe in the slot. Like you said earlier, Kevin Hogan. I don't really see him much more than a backup at this point.
Good backup, good solid backup though. That's what I was getting at.
He has a Tebow-like arm angle. The way he throws the ball, it's really weird.
So what you're saying is he's going to need a few years like Alex Smith, possibly.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see him any more than a backup. I think once Alex Smith's gone, they're going to have to go after someone that's a little better than him. But
what was his record with Stanford? If he did he have a winning record?
Off the top of my head, yeah. They won a couple Rose Bowls, which that Stanford.
Did he do that? They had a really good white running back. I'm sorry, never mind. It was on that white running back's legs.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a good game manager. I mean,
okay. What Alex
I think he's a product of the Stanford offense. But like I said, don't really see him much more than backup.
I can agree with that. I just wanted to push your buttons a little bit, see what you said about him.
Wide receiver Tyreek Hill out of West Alabama. Cornerback DJ White out of Georgia Tech. And really like the 7th round pick, Dottie Nicholas, an outside linebacker from Virginia Tech. He had freaky measurables at the combine. Really fast guy. Played outside linebacker / defensive end for Virginia Tech. They run that 34 bear at Virginia Tech, so he was very versatile for them. And being an Ohio State fan, I kind of have nightmares about him and that defense, because a couple years ago they gave us the only loss of the season, and I think he's a good fit for them. They got D Ford and Tamba Hali, and they got some pass rushers, but I think he is going to be a good fit for him.
He could possibly play alongside Derek Johnson, because I don't think they really have a solid number 2 next to him.
I think he's like 225 pounds. He needs to add some weight.
He needs to add weight, but you've seen what the Cardinals did with
Deion Buchanan.
Yeah, so it could work.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for the Chiefs and about wraps it up for the AFC West.
Yeah, I feel pretty awesome about them Raiders, though. On paper, they look amazing. I could rave on and on about them.
I could, too. I think they're... You think they're going to win the AFC?
No, not the AFC. I feel like they're like the
sexy pick.
The sexy pick for the AFC. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm going to have to pick my Patriots either one way or the other. But I just don't know. Looking at their schedule, it's just like, wow, none of these teams really stand a chance. I have the Texans beating them because of their defense. But wait, no, I haven't beaten the Texans. I'm sorry, but I don't know. There's just not a lot of defenses out there I feel like could stop them.
They're going to be tough to beat next year. I see them maybe going to the conference title game.
Oh, definitely.
I might go as far to say that.
I could see them going to the conference title.
But who are we breaking down next week, Josh?
I was thinking about the NFC. Well, I had it somewhere, guys. I'm sorry. I'm pathetic.
West?
NFC South.
NFC South.
We're going
with the NFC champs. So we're going to be breaking down the Panthers, Buccaneers, Falcons, and Saints.
Yeah, and guys, I got to tell you something. I don't have the Panthers repeating.
Oh! Well, it is the NFC South, so...
every year it's going to be something new.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you next time, guys. Thanks for...